when you're a victim of a violent crime, whether it's an individual, a subgroup, or a nation, until the story is validated, accepted, affirmed, and responded to with appropriate outrage, the crime continues to scar them.
Call up your town selectmen. Let them know how you feel about Armenian genocide denial in our town. And if you think that it might be a little uncomfortable, I want you to remember how uncomfortable it was for your grandparents and your ancestors to get to here. Because as far as I'm concerned, the ADL can do this somewhere else, but not in our town.
There can be no reconciliation between the Turks and Armenians without Turkey's recognition of the genocide. If the ADL is afraid of Turkey's response to the passing of this resolution, then it is Turkey they should blame, not the American Armenian community.
Mr. Foxman made a statement. I looked at his statement, and wherever I saw the word Armenian, I, in my mind, substituted the word Jewish, and wherever I saw the word genocide, I substituted the word Holocaust. And I said, would I be satisfied if this were the response of my leaders? And my answer was no.
I'm also here as a former ADL employee, someone who worked in the national office in New York. Continue to do everything you can to put pressure on the national leadership, because it's going to take a lot of pressure on the national leadership and support for the regional board to get a change.
I'm a senior at Lexington High School. I came here tonight to ask you to please sever ties between the town of Lexington and the Anti-Defamation League. In school and in my town, I learned that real tolerance is only possible when we do not discriminate against anyone. The ADL discriminates. If Lexington really is no place for hate, like I believe it is, then you cannot allow an organization that discriminates in its policies to sponsor an education program.
I hope the Newton Human Rights Commission, in conclusion, will remain faithful to its mission and agree that the Newton No Place for Hate must sever, not suspend, not think about, not sleep on, because we Armenians have had it up to here with euphemisms, sever their ties to the ADL.
When I think of my grandmother's guilt and her pain, and I think of these suggestions that have been made to Armenians, I am outraged. And when I read the statements between Mr. Foxman and Turkish officials referring to this crisis as an uncomfortable episode that Turks must endure, I'm incensed.
I'm a child of Holocaust survivors as well. I'm the author of Children of the Holocaust, Conversations with Sons and Daughters of Survivors, so I know how a lot of you sitting here feel. I think that I'm terribly ashamed of Foxman for not apologizing to the heirs of the genocide rather than to the Turkish government. And I'd like to take this opportunity to apologize to you as a Jew. And I recommend to the selectmen that you sever ties with the ADL.
For the last 20, 30 years, what angers me as a Jew is that here you have the ADL, one of the greatest civil, ethnic, racial rights organizations. They have, at the top level, opposed the Armenian genocide for 20, 30, 40 years, long as Foxman was in charge.
They are not in a position to advocate and to put a stamp of approval where human rights are concerned. But does Newton really need a lobby to tell it that, oh, you're a good, tolerant, ethnically diverse, anti-racist community? Who cares? We can do our own thing.
I'm a Jewish Lexingtonian, and I think the problem with the ADL is that they are a human rights advocacy organization, but they are also an international political lobbying group. I don't think we would support in this town an organization that did good works but was sponsored by another organization that denied the Jewish Holocaust. I don't think we would allow a group that denied the validity of gay marriage or gay couples to sponsor an otherwise good program in town.
Just as denial of the Jewish Holocaust merit prompt action and condemnation, so should denial of the Armenian genocide deserve the same immediate response. Rabbi Hillel said it best: if I am not here for myself, then who will be for me, and if not now, when?
The ADL hails United Nations passage of resolution establishing Holocaust Memorial Day. The ADL urges Massachusetts State House to take a stand against genocide in Darfur. So the ADL does take positions. Congress does pass resolutions in Congress commemorating genocides and Holocaust days. But when it comes to the Armenian genocide, this is a political issue, is that what you say? Is the Darfur a political issue?
It is essential there be a clear message, a clear ethical message that the ADL is in favor of Armenian genocide legislation in Congress. Until it is ready to do so, until it is ready to take that ethical position, I cannot see, as someone who grew up in Lexington, as someone whose first job was talking about the defense of liberty as a tour guide in Lexington Green, to still have this town associated with the Anti-Defamation League.
Please understand us. We have been waiting for the recognition of our history for all our lives. And I don't want to give the national ADL and Mr. Fox one more day.
Hearing the voices of the Armenian community and hearing my own, Jewish conscience speaking out inside, I cannot say that we are able to be in the same boat with the ADL.
You have a decision to make. Either you can stand with the victims of genocide, or you can remain with those who actively engage in the final stage of genocide, denial.